list. I'm not sure how they come up with these songs. But every time they sing the right ones. Amen.
Yes, indeed.
My favorite part of that is there's resurrection power in all you do.
Yes.
There's resurrection power in all He does. And I'm going to preach to you just for a little while tonight about the resurrection effect. Like I said, I believe they study my notes before they sing. But that's all right. That shows me that I'm on the right page. Usually I don't have a hard time coming up with something, but this time I told my wife, I said, here it is Friday. I've been praying and seeking God, and He still hadn't gave me anything. And I keep going back to this one thing, and I believe that's what He wants us to preach tonight. But I was a little skeptical about preaching it because Pastor had just preached a message last Sunday morning about your baby being dead. And then he preached this morning about the vessels. But I believe that when he preached this morning, what I got in my bedroom yesterday on a Friday or on a Saturday, that God showed me that I was on the right path. Amen? Yes. I was on the right path. And what I think that we're seeing in this day and hour is we're seeing a lot of people that are sitting in the pews with things on the inside of them, and we can't figure out how to get it to unlock and come forth. Amen? And that's what it is all across this country. There's people sitting on the pews with potential and with stuff locked up on the inside of them that we can't get it out. And we sit up here every Sunday morning and stand up here and we pray and we fast and we preach and we sing praise and we do all these things trying to unlock something on the inside of these people, but it never does. It seems like you can do it and you can do it and you can do it, but it never happens. Amen? And I don't understand it sometimes, but I believe that we're in a day, like he preached this morning, we're in a day that's coming this year. I believe I stand with him on that this year, that there's going to be potential unlocked in this county that you've never seen before. Amen? I believe it. I believe that. I believe that, and I believe the babies and the pregnant destiny that's on the inside of them. I told you how much that message meant to me. It's just something about me. I've preached that before, not to that same standard, but I've preached it about being in the presence and something about making your baby jump again. That once you figure out what you're here for, once you figure out what you're here for, it'll make your baby jump. I guarantee it. I guarantee you it will. I was talking to a guy last night or Saturday morning, and we was playing basketball, and he has this real tall kid, a guy that's probably Connor's a pretty good sized kid, but this kid is real big. He's the most timid kid on the court, and his coach told me, he said, "Man, if he ever realizes." If he ever realizes what he is, if he ever realizes he's bigger than everybody else, if he ever realizes that he's got potential, amen, he's going to be an athlete, amen. But I believe that's what God's saying to us in this hour. If you ever realize who you are, if you ever realize the potential that's truly on the inside of you, if you ever realize the destiny that He's put on the inside of you, if you ever realize what He's called you to be, if you ever realize tonight what He's called you into this earth to be, if you ever realize who you are, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be unstoppable. Let's read. We'll turn to John chapter 11. But you know, anytime you say the word resurrection, you automatically think back to the resurrection. The resurrection of our Savior. You know, you can't. But the thing is, you can't go back. You can't go back to the resurrection without going back to the crucifixion. You have to think about what He endured before you can ever think about what He did when He raised from the dead. Amen? You have to think about all the things that He went through to get to where He was going. Amen? And that's just like us today. Sometimes you don't want to look at the things that you've had to go through to get to where you're at. But if you ever figure out that it's part of the process, that with the things you have to go through to get to your resurrection, it'll change your life forever. Amen? But I want to talk about a different resurrection tonight.
Yes.
I want to talk about the resurrection of Lazarus. And anybody that knows me knows I love to preach about Lazarus. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
One of my favorite characters. All right, John chapter 11, beginning at verse 1. We're just going to skip around just a little bit. It says, now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and his sister Martha. And it was that Mary that anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair. I want you to remember that. It was that Mary that anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. And you can be seated because I want to read some more, but you can be seated.
Thank you, Jesus.
First thing I got out of that scripture was this. Jesus loved him. He didn't love just Lazarus, but he loved the sisters. He loved Martha. He loved Mary.
Yes.
And I think it's time, church, that we realize that we have to have a relationship with God right now.
Yes.
We have to have a relationship, even if your life's going good. Go ahead and fall in love with Him now. Go ahead and fall in love with Him now, because when the trial comes, you can send for Him and He'll come to you. Amen. When the trial comes, you can send forth. She sent forth for Him. She didn't even go herself. She sent forth for Him. And you know what she did when she sent for Him? She knew that He would come.
Yes.
Why did she know that He would come? Because she knew that Jesus loved them.
Amen.
She knew that Jesus loved them. And I started studying something a little different today, and it kind of got me thinking. I said, why does it always mention Lazarus of Bethany? Why does it always say that that's where he's from? So I started studying it out. In Bethany, there was two types of people. There was the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And Bethany was a Sadducees town. It was mostly Sadducees. But the problem was, Sadducees didn't believe in resurrection. Sadducees didn't believe in any kind of miracles. Sadducees didn't believe in all that stuff. They didn't believe that it could happen. As a matter of fact, that's why they hated Jesus, because signs and wonders always followed Him. So they didn't like Him. They didn't like Him because of that. But they lived in that town, and it said that He's going there. And if you read through there, His disciples will tell Him, say, you about got killed last time you went. And He says, I'll go in the night if I have to go in the night. Because they hated Him. The reason they hated Him was because they were Sadducees.
Yes.
I heard one preacher say one time they were sad, you see.
Yeah.
Because they were sad, you see, because they didn't have the power that followed in a demonstration of what was going on there. But I'll tell you, the Pharisees, and I'll prove to you in a minute that Lazarus and his sisters was Pharisees. They was just living in a Sadducees town. Amen? And that's important, because I want you to think about this. He sent forth for Lazarus. To say that they sent forth for Jesus to tell him that Lazarus was dead or was sick. Can you imagine the 4 days that passed? If you're living in a place that somebody, kind of like what we're living in today, that they don't believe nothing about that. They don't believe nothing about that. And they're trying to keep the faith, and they're saying, oh yeah, I know He's coming. I know He's coming. I know He's going to come and show up. He's going to do a miracle. And He's going to heal my brother. And I know. And then all of a sudden, Lazarus dies. Can you imagine what they're saying? All these Sadducees, I know what they're saying. They're saying, where's your Jesus at now?
Yes.
You ever had anybody tell you that?
Yes.
Where's your Jesus at now? Your baby's sick. Where's your Jesus at now? I'm telling you, they've had to go through a lot right there. I'm telling you they did. But we're going to go on. And it says, therefore sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Jesus heard that, He said, this sickness is not unto death. What is it for? But for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now Jesus loved Martha and his sister and Lazarus. Amen. Amen. The sickness is not unto death. You go on down to, skip down to verse 14. Then Jesus said plainly. See, first they was trying to say, Jesus was telling them, say, look, he's going to be fine. He's just resting. They're saying, you mean he's sleeping, so he's going to get better while he's sleeping? And finally Jesus said, look, he's dead. Lazarus is dead. Right there in verse 14 he says, listen. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Lazarus is dead. Ain't it something about something whenever you're going through something and you don't really want to give up hope?
Yes.
Hey man, you don't want to give up hope on it, and they're hanging in there, but all of a sudden they said your dreams are dead, your vision is dead, your anointing is dead, everything that you believed in is dead. You've lost things in this life and they're dead, and they ain't, I'm not telling you, they gave up hope, and I can see them Sadducees now saying, hey, you done too late, but the Bible says, if you go on down to verse 20, I think it is verse 20, it says, then Martha, as soon as he heard that Jesus was coming, no, see, that's not it, let's give it back up here for a second. 14 is, it said, Jesus said plainly, Lazarus is dead. I lost my place, bless you, Lord. Anyway, I'll just tell you the story because I know that, amen. It said that even after they sent for him, even after he found out that he was sick, even after they knew he was sick, that Jesus stayed there for 2 more days. He stayed 2 more days, even after he knew what was going on. And you know, and I've heard a lot of people sing about it, preach about it. 3 days late and always on time. Y'all know the songs, y'all know the stories. Well, this is the custom. The custom is whenever the dead passes, that they, within that same day, have to bury them. Within the same day, sometimes within hours. Okay, because there wasn't no embalmment. There wasn't any kind of anything that they did. They just rubbed anointing on them. Y'all seen it. I think I preached here one time. They just rub them down, cover them up, and stick them in the tomb. But their belief was that for 3 days, the spirit. That was their belief. That for 3 days, that spirit at any time could enter back into the body. That was their belief. That was their resurrection belief. So what Jesus was doing was he's saying, look, he said, I'm going to do something that there ain't no man can get glory for. I'm going to do something that when you see it happen, you got to give me praise for it, because I'm the only one that can accomplish it. Amen? He's not saying, I'm not going to do it in 3 days. I'm not going to do it in 2 days. I'm not going to do it in that day. But I'm going to wait 4 days to break all y'all's religious systems down, and you'll have to give me praise for it. You'll have to praise me for it, because I'm the only one that can accomplish it.
Yes, Jesus.
Amen. Amen. Hang with me. I'm not a very good teacher. I'm more of a strength. Amen. Verse 25 says, verse 25, and y'all have heard this one a bunch. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though they were dead, yet shall live. He's speaking right there something, I'm telling you, that we've heard preached 1,000 times. He's saying, it doesn't matter if it's 4 days. It doesn't matter if it's 10 days. It doesn't matter if it's a lifetime. I am the resurrection, and I am the life, and when I call things to life, they have to come to life. He said, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter about the time frame that y'all are putting on this thing.
Yes.
I am the resurrection.
Amen.
And when you figure that out, it'll be awesome. Amen.
Yes.
And we'll go to verse 39, we'll take off. Verse 39. Jesus said, take ye away the stone. Martha said, the sister said unto him, let's see. Jesus said, take ye away the stone. Martha, sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. See, sometimes in our life, and I want to preach to you something similar to what Pastor preached to you last Sunday morning. See, because there's a lot of things, and I believe that you're all here tonight because you're here on divine appointment. I believe God sent you here tonight. There might not be 50 people here, but I believe that there's 100 people here that says that they know down deep in their heart that they want more of God. Amen. And I believe over our lifetime, there's stuff that comes and goes, and there's stuff that you want to see come to pass that dies in your life. There's stuff in your life that dies out, and you don't understand at the time why it dies, and then you ended up burying it, and it's gone away, and before you know it, your tomb becomes full of dead things. Amen. It becomes dead dreams and dead visions and dead possibilities, and all these things become dead in your life, and you don't understand what's going on. But I'm going to tell you what resurrection is. Resurrection is when the thing is dead, but it lives again. Amen. That's what resurrection truly is. And I believe in this next season, you're going to begin to see things live again. The dreams that you had of being a pastor, of being a preacher, of being an evangelist, of singing on a praise team, those things that's locked up as a Sunday school teacher that used to live, but they're not living anymore. I believe you're going to see them in the next season start to live again, because you're going to have Jesus standing in front of him. He's going to call forth to those things that are dead, and when he does, they can't stay there, because he is the resurrection and he is the life. And when he calls forth for your dead things, they have to live again. They don't have no choice but to come forth and live again. I don't care what you've lost, I don't care what you've been through, he can speak life to it. He can speak life to it. But see, what we find all across this world, all across this nation, is people sitting in the pew, and they're sitting in the pew with a tomb that's full of dead things, and they don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to get it out. And they come in on a Sunday morning, and they get the fragrance. They get the fragrance spread.
Thank you, Jesus.
Because if they really knew the truth, if you really knew the truth about them, those things that were dead, they stink.
Thank you, Jesus.
So they come in on a Sunday morning and they get the oil spread on their dead stuff. They get the oil, the anointing rubbed on their dead stuff. Then they go back out. And then before next Sunday it starts to stink again. Then they come back in the next Sunday. They let the pastor come up here and pull her out like he ain't ever pulled out before. And they take that ointment and they rub it on their dead stuff.
Yes, Lord.
But they leave out of here and it's still dead.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
They leave out of here and it's still dead.
Yes, Lord.
But I believe that there's coming a day, and it's coming real soon, to when God says, I see your potential.
Yes, Lord.
I see those things locked up on the inside of you. Those columns are without repentance. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're black, white, green, or brown. I don't care what tribe you're from. I don't care what nation you're from. If God says it's going to live, it's going to live. Glory to your name, Father.
Thank you, Jesus.
Glory to your name, Father. He said, come forth. And y'all know I preached it. I preached it before. You know, it always blows my mind at the power that he walked around this earth with. He walked around this earth. You know, he hadn't went to no tomb. They sent for him because the man was sick. And before he ever moved from where he was at, he said he's dead. He already knew. He said in a scripture right after that, he said, he must be dead. That way you can see, it's not for me that he's dead, it's for you, so you can see what my power will do whenever we get there. It ain't nothing about Lazarus being dead. Amen, it's for you. It's for you to see. I've always told Pastor, one time's all it's going to take. I'm telling you, one time. The first time somebody gets up out of a wheelchair and walks out of here, I'm telling you, you will not be able to contain the people walking that back door, because it ain't for us, it's for them. Amen? It's for them. When that resurrection power begins to stir on the inside of you and miracles start to happen, you won't be able to contain it. They followed him around, and thousands of people followed him around, not because of who he was, but because of what they seen him do every day. They've seen it with their own eyes. There wasn't no argument of it. They've seen it every day. Praise the Lord. Activating the resurrection effect. That is going to breathe life into everything that has laid dormant in your life. The resurrection not only happened when Jesus was raised from the dead, but the resurrection for 2,000 years for 2,000 years now, the resurrection's been happening all over this world. The resurrection's been happening every Sunday when people really believe that what's dead can live again. Amen. And I'm not talking about flesh. I'm talking about dead dreams, dead visions, dead everything in your life that's ever wanted to live and it can't. God can call it to be. He can make it live again. Just like Pastor preached about the baby. The baby was dead, but he wasn't really dead. Jesus said he was sleeping. Hey man, when you're pregnant with something and it ain't moved for a while, man, that lit my fire, Pastor. I'm telling you, that message lit my fire because I've preached a million times. It ain't about what the tombstone says. The tombstone, if you go look at Jessie Hicks' tombstone, it's going to say February the 10th, 1976. And then over here, it'll have whatever the date is I go on to be with God. But in the middle, there's a dash. That's the only thing that matters in your life. It don't matter where you start. It don't matter where you end. But what are you doing while you're here? Amen? It bothers me that there's tombstones all over this nation sitting in the pew and they ain't doing nothing except for getting ointment rubbed up on their damn stuff because all they want to be is comfortable. They don't care. I'm going to tell you right now, but when you start stinking bad enough, Jesus is called to the stench. He said, I don't care what he smells like. Roll that stone out of the way. Hey, when he said, get that stone out of the way, because when I call forth, he has to come. He has to come forth when I call him. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind when he said, Lazarus, man, me and Pastor both preached this. If he'd have said, come forth, it'd have emptied out every graveyard in the country. He had to say his name, amen. He had to say Lazarus. But listen, I'm not here today to talk about raising the dead in spirit and in flesh. But I'm here to talk to you tonight about raising the dead in your life.
Yes, Lord.
See, because that's what it's about. If we'll all be honest, we got dreams that are dead. If we'll all be honest, we got relationships that are dead. If we'll all be honest, we got things in our life that are dead. And those things that are dead, if they're not dealt with, they'll become stagnant. They begin to stink. But God says, I sent you on assignment tonight, not to resurrect the flesh, but to resurrect the dead dreams, to resurrect the pastor that's sitting on the pew that ain't preaching no more. Hey, I sent you to resurrect the Sunday school teacher that's done it, and she's sitting there not doing it anymore. He said, I'm resurrecting that thing on the inside of you. I'm resurrecting it again because it's been dead, but now it shall live.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Bless you, Lord.
My God.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
You know, it used to be a custom. I heard a preacher preach one time. He said that he was 19 years old and he got his first assignment.
Thank you, Jesus.
I can't remember where he was at, somewhere in Arkansas or something. But he said he'd been a pastor for like 2 days. And some lady passed. And they come to him and they said, well, we're going to need you to be here. We're not using the funeral home. We're bringing Miss So-and-so to the church. And she was 85 years old. And he said, but it's their custom for the pastor to be there. He said, oh, no problem. I'll be there. So now you don't understand. You have to be there the whole time. It's our custom for you to stay all night with the body, to make sure nobody comes in and messes with the body. And he said, look, she's 85 years old. Nobody wants her body. I'm not staying. I'm not staying overnight. He said, the wake. And you know, he said, that stuck with me all these years. He said, we call it a wake when they're dead. We call it a wake when they're dead. But really, they need to be woke up while they're living. They need to be woke up while they got something that they can do. They need to be woke up while they're sitting in the pew, not doing nothing. They need to be woke up then. Don't call it a wake when they're dead. Call it a wake right now when they can do something valuable for the kingdom.
Yes.
That's when you need to be awake.
Yes.
Glory to God. Glory to God. We don't have to turn, I'll just read it to you. I'm going to go on to John 12. This is the part about Lazarus that you never hear about. John 12, start verse 1, says, Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany again, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. And in the house was filled with the odor of the anointment.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jesus.
You see, this is what happens. All through our life, we're going to be able to preach to people, and we're never going to say a word. I've always been a proponent of saying, you'll always say more with your life than you ever do with your lips.
Amen.
And when you go on your workplace, they're watching you to see what you do.
Amen.
When you go to the grocery store, they're watching you to see what you do. When chaos comes to your house, they're watching you to see what you do. When somebody's sick, they're watching you to see what you do. Because they want to see you preach, not with your lips, but with your life.
Yes.
With your life. And what happened right here with Lazarus was, he was just resurrected from the dead. He was just called forth after being in a tomb for 4 days. Everything that was dead in his life now lived again. Amen. And they said, look here, the writer didn't say anything about Jesus being there, even though the supper was for him. They talked about Lazarus being in the house, because that's what they was concentrating on. That man that had been dead. That man that had been in the tomb. That man that Jesus loved for 4 days laid in the tomb. But all of a sudden, can you imagine what we would do if a man was dead 4 days and somebody went to the Tasman morgue and prayed for him, and they got up out of their bed, hey, and they walked in that back door back there, and they come in this church service? You wouldn't talk about nothing else except for the man that was here, that been dead and now he lives. God said, let me tell you tonight, that when that thing on the inside of you, when it begins to live again, they won't talk about come into town. She's still in the house with Martha, and they was all crying. Jesus was there. But everybody in the city thought he was too late.
That's right.
Everybody, even them. Because she said, if you would have been here, he wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
You know, and we go through life like that. I can think back in my life. I often think about one of my best friends growing up. I can tell you the exact point where our paths separated. Because he wanted to do one thing that I wasn't comfortable with doing. And I wanted to go over here. And I knew this path led to destruction. And I knew this path did. And we separated. And at 42 years old right now, as of yesterday, he's been gone 10 years.
Jesus.
I could have went with him and let all that dead stuff stay in my life.
Yes.
I could have went with him down that path of chaos. But I can take you back to that time. I think there's going to come a time where you can take me on a trip in your mind back to the time to where what should have been happened. You can take me on a trip in your mind back to what could have been. You can take me on your trip in your mind back to if this would have happened.
Come on.
Or if that would have happened. Or if this wouldn't have happened. Or if that would have happened. Or if I'd have been blessed this way. Or if I'd have been blessed that way. I wouldn't be where I am today. I would be much better off. You don't understand, Pastor, what I'm talking about when I say that there's dead things in my life. And it wasn't meant to be that way. I can take you back to that time. But Jesus said, your life is going to live again. And when it does, when you're in a room like Lazarus was, they're going to take notice of you. They're going to take notice of everything that's in your past that's living again. That anointing that's on your life, when it starts to live again, it's going to change this whole community.
Yes.
That purpose that's in your life, when it starts to happen, you're going to see things come to pass because of that purpose. Mary and Martha seen him coming into town, and they were so heartbroken because they knew that their brother had died. See that? If you get sad over the things that have died in your life, if you truly get sad over them and you just let them lay dormant, like I said before, if they just lay there and they begin to stink. She told Jesus, she said, you don't understand. He's been dead 4 days. But I thought about it today and I started smiling because can you imagine what he knew? He knew he wanted it to be 4 days. Because 3 days, all those Sadducees would have said, you know, it wasn't Jesus. But because it was 4 days, they couldn't say nothing, but he has to be the man he says he is.
That's right.
But she was crying. She was crying when he came in. And then if you go on over, like I said, to John chapter 12, it said, then Jesus 6 days later, the Passover, and there was made a supper, and there he was sitting in there. And Mary then took Mary a pound of ointment and spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped it with her hair. And the house was filled with the odor of ointment. I want to say this and we'll close. She went from being at his feet weeping to being at his feet worshiping. You know, there's just a little bit of time between when she was there weeping till she went there to worship. See, just because Lazarus was in the room, you know, I think that when Jesus showed up, this is how I pictured in my mind, like Pastor says all the time, don't quote me on this. This is the way I see it. I see all the usual suspects there. You know, all the disciples was there. Mary and Martha was there. All the people that followed Jesus, I believe, was in that room. And I believe that old Mary was sitting there, and when she seen Jesus walk in, and she looked over there, and she seen her brother, and he was living, and he was sitting there with them, and he'd been dead 4 days, but now he's living again. I believe she looked over and seen old Lazarus, and I believe she said, oh my God, we've been saving this anointment, but I can't take it no more. I gotta break this alabaster box. And I believe she broke it open, and I believe the fragrance of her praise filled the whole room, because it wasn't the anointment that was smelling, it wasn't the ointment that was smelling, it was the praise that was smelling. And she busted it open. She busted it open and said, I can't take it no more. And then she humbled herself and she wiped his feet. And she was just praising him the best way she knew how. Because what was dead, what was dead is now living.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
When that thing starts living again,
Hallelujah.
when that thing starts living again in your life, you're going to break open the box and you're going to say, God, I can't help give you praise. And that praise is going to be so contagious. It's going to fill the whole room. It's going to fill the whole room. You know, I read on down a couple of verses. And it said, old Judas, he got mad.
Yes.
He got mad because he said she wasted it. And she should have took it and sold it, gave it to the poor. But I'm telling you, I read that and I said, man, ain't that just like church folk? Ain't that just like religious folk?
Amen.
So when something starts living again,
Come on.
when something starts living again, and you get up and you finally step out, you finally get up off the pew, and you step up here and say, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for the praise team, or I'm gonna go ahead and ask Pastor if I can open up service. I'll go ahead and ask Debbie if I can be involved with the kids. And then all of a sudden somebody says, what do they think they're doing?
Thank you, Jesus.
What do you think you're doing? You can't bust open that box. You can't spend that on this. But I believe in her heart she said, you don't understand. If she could have spoke to Judas, she'd have said, listen here, sir. You don't understand that my brother was dead. Hey, you don't understand that he was in the tomb 4 days. You don't understand that he was stinking. You don't understand that when Jesus came, we didn't give him a chance. But he called forth to that thing that was dead, and it had to live again. But don't you put a price on that. You can't put a price on that, Judas. You can't put a price on that thing that's living. You can't put a price on it. And then what happened? He sold it out anyway. My God. Go ahead and put some music on, okay? There's resurrection power in all he does.
Yes.
Amen. Glory to God.
Man, when they sung that part, I was just like, wow. There's resurrection power in all you do. Resurrection power in all you do.
Yes.
Do I believe in this next season that we're going to see people resurrected with blind eyes? Do I see people resurrected out of wheelchairs? Do I believe that we're going to see cancer drop off? Yes, I do. But do I believe that people's dreams are going to be resurrected?
Yes, Lord.
Do I believe that people's anointing is going to be resurrected?
Yes.
people's calling is going to be resurrected? Do I believe people's relationships are going to be resurrected? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. See, because just like Pastor said this morning, the enemy wants to come in and he wants to put a cap on that thing. See, what the enemy wants to do in your life is he wants to take you back to Bethany, where the Sadducees are. And the enemy wants to let them start playing over in your head that this thing that's dead, it'll never live again. This thing that's dead in your life, it'll never be what it used to be.
Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
This thing in your life that has been dormant so long. This thing in your life that's laid there, motionless, lifeless, for so long. The enemy's going to let them speak to you and tell you that it'll never live again. But if you believe on Him, you can't help but to believe that there's resurrection power in all He does. He said, I am the resurrection and I am the life. I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. But when you believe on Him, your dead stuff has to begin to live again. And listen, you can stand to your feet in here. I may have preached to one person, I have no idea. But all I know is that in this season, Pastor, God is calling that dormant thing to live again. God is calling that spiritual baby to breathe again. God is calling that thing in your belly that's down on the inside, just like Mary and Martha when she got into or just like John the Baptist in the presence of Jesus. She hadn't felt Him move. It was the 6th month, I think the Bible said. She had never felt her baby move. And one encounter with the resurrection power. One encounter with the resurrection in the life. That baby started flipping on the inside of her. And it began to live. And it began to flip. And I'm telling you, when you get in contact with the resurrection power, that thing that's been dead on the inside of you is going to begin to kick like it ain't ever kicked before.
Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
I don't care what they've said. I don't care how they tried to disqualify you. I don't care how the enemy's tried to disqualify you. I don't care how you've tried to disqualify yourself. I don't care if in your mind you think that it's never going to be possible. But I believe tonight that somebody in here, I don't know who you are, but I'm telling you tonight, if you'll listen to the call of God, He sent me on assignment. And something on the inside of you is going to live again.
Yes, Jesus. Glory to God.
About a song, and it wrote on there, I definitely ain't no singer. The song is, when I think about the Lord, I think about everything that He's done, you begin to get a gracious heart. You begin to think, out of my life, I'm just going to praise Him for everything that He's done. And as you begin to just take a back road back down to your life, into your past and you think about everything that He's brought you through, everything that He's brought you out of, every sickness that He's brought you through, every time the enemy tried to kill you, every time the car wreck didn't take you out. If you think about all those things, you can't help but to have a gracious spirit that says, God, I have to praise you. But yet after all that, there's still that something that's on the inside of you that's laying dormant. I seen something this morning, and I don't know if y'all seen it or not. Heather ain't here, is she? Let me tell you something. She come up here. I took that vessel the pastor had over here. I seen her right here get her vessel full. Then she turned right around. And instead of leaving it full, she began to splash it out at everybody. Because I believe this, I'm going to prophesy right now. That thing that's dead on the inside of her is beginning to live. Hey, I'm telling you, there's something on the inside of that young girl that's beginning to live. I seen her splashing out mercy. I seen her splashing out hope because her vessel's full. I believe y'all are here tonight. Y'all got full vessels. You say, well, you preaching what he preached. Because it all goes together. Because see, when that vessel is full, it'll sit there and be full until you can activate that thing that's living on the inside of you. I prayed with several people this morning, and this was my prayer. I never asked God to fill them up, because He'll do that. I promise you. I promise you, every time your vessel is low on oil, He will fill it up. But the problem with the church is we want to hold on to our full vessel. I prayed with these people this morning. I said, God, right now in this moment, Lord, begin to pour them out. Begin to pour them out right now, God. Because I know in my spirit, if they can begin to pour out, He'll continually fill them back up. But what it's about, the process is about pouring out.
Yes, Lord.
Your oil doesn't do no good if you keep it for yourself.
Yes, Lord. Hallelujah.
Just like Pastor preached.
Yes, Jesus.
You can live off of that oil.
Yes, Jesus.
But that's all you're going to do is live.
Yes, Lord.
I want to see a church that's thriving. I want to see you successful. I want to see you anointed. I want to see you as overcomers. I want to see you the head and not the tail. I want to see you above and not beneath. I know all about it. I want to see you blessed. I want to see you blessed in the city and blessed in the field. But you got to pour out your oil so He can refill it. Let that damn thing live. Let that dead thing live again. I'll tell you, I'm just going to be real with you. I believe, our pastor said it this morning, I believe there's preachers in here. Trust me, I didn't sign up for it either. It ain't about me, it's about Him. I believe there's people in here that for years have sit on the calling of God. I believe there's people in here that has let their mind disqualify them from their anointing. I'll tell you what I want to do tonight. If that's you, and like I said, I know it's at least one of you, because I don't think God would have gave it to me if it wasn't for at least one of you. But I believe it's more than one.
Thank you, Jesus.
If that's you tonight, I I want you to make your way to the front in just a moment, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do just like Jesus did. Because my Bible said the same power that He had is what we walk. That's what we work in. That's what we walk in, church. And I'm not going to pray for your flesh, but I'm going to pray for your promise. I'm going to pray for that thing in your life that's dead. And when we do, I believe with everything in me that it will live again. I believe this can be a pivotal moment for somebody. I believe we can sit in a pew and do the same thing we've always done. You can just take my sweat and my spit that I've poured out tonight, and you can rub a little ointment on that dead thing. You come back next Sunday and we'll rub some more ointment on it.
Yes.
Or you can choose to say, God, I know what you said. I know what you told me. I know what you promised me. I know what you told me as a child. I know what you told me even in my mother's womb. Sometimes I believe your mama will tell you, I knew when I was pregnant with you that you had a calling on your life. I know there's people under the sound of my voice. You're not doing what you're called to do. I know there's people under the sound of my voice that's laying there, that's coming to church, that may be barely getting through. You might be letting something keep your anointing under lockdown, but I'm telling you tonight, we're going to prophesy that thing. And I believe when we do, those dead bones, those dead bones that's been laying there so long, they're going to come in contact with the power of God. And they're going to become one again. They're going to start, everything that you always dreamed is going to start connecting back together, just like those bones did. And they're going to start standing up and they're going to live again.
Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
So if that's you tonight, I'm not going to beg you, we're not going to hold it out long. But if I was you, I would come on up to this altar. I believe I may even run to the altar to let that thing in my life live again. Amen. Y'all come on. If that's you, and there's something on the inside of you that's